Greetings, dear ones. So a lot of people I meet in my work and in everyday life has this constant feeling of being unsafe, being under a threat. And so I want to talk more about how to fully heal the nervous system, how we bring back that sensation, that feeling of safety within us. And you are the one who can do and will do that to yourself. So what we need to understand is that, so when we feel unsafe, there is a sensation of, there is a emotion and of fear, right, rising. And emotions has its energy that wants to move. I talked about this a lot of time, and I'm going to repeat it. Emotion is energy that wants to move. It wants to move up and out. And if we resist it, it will get buried in our system, in our energy bodies and in our physical body, and it will then come to create illness in our bodies. So a lot of what we experience, what emotions we are experiencing, are actually comes from childhood traumas. So when we are children, if we have not felt safe enough to fully embrace our emotions when something happens to us, that will, if we, which we many times did, learn how to suppress them. Because many times it wasn't that event that was the most terrifying thing. It's actually never the event, it's how we feel about it. It what's happened with us, within us. It's actually the emotion that feels the most scary, our emotional respond. So when we move away, when we shut down and when we suppress the emotion, what we teach our system, what we teach the brain is that this is the threat. Me feeling that emotion is equals me being in danger. So how to fully heal the nervous system and to reset and to come back into place of feeling safe in your system, in your body and in this world, is to relearn, is to teach your brain that the emotions do not equal danger, that it's safe for me to feel. So the emotions their natural state is movement, and they will keep triggering you, and you will experience things in your life that triggers the same emotions. We many times has our core emotional wounds, right? Because they want to come into completion. They want to move in that full circle and to be released. So many ways we have learned to escape is through numbing, through using substances, through, and this is very common, move into the mind. So many modalities today is actually not healing the emotions by fully feel them, but is to try maybe to deal with them in a ways of understanding, analyzing them, or trying to control them. And that will never work, because the mind and emotions are on different levels. They create a loop, but you can't solve the emotions, and you can especially not heal emotions through thinking, through the mind. So it doesn't matter if you talk about it, if you write about it, if you journaling, if you try to understand your emotions. And it's humans come up with so many different ways to just not feel them. And that's normal, and that's very understandable, especially when it comes to raw feelings as fear and grief and pain in different ways. And if those emotions are suppressed, the energies will move into the mind, and it will create stories. The stories does just take you further away from the emotion. So what I invite you to do is to fully drop any need of trying to understand or moving deeper into the thoughts about the emotions. So even if there's something happening in your life today, it's very likely that it's just bringing your attention back to an emotional wound that you have suppressed many, many years ago. So I want you to drop the conclusion of what it is about, and to fully bring your attention into your body. You will feel where it is located, and just become very still and be with it. And this needs it needs of you to be very dedicated to. It takes practice, and I really encourage you to do not give up. And we will need to soften into it, because your system will try to keep you away from it. You need to understand, if your brain think that this is the threat, this is the tiger, it will do anything to escape. But what will happen is that when you fully allow it to be, allow the energy to be, when you get out of the way, when you drop the resistance, that is when you tell your system another story. That's when you communicate to your brain that I'm safe. This is how we do things. This is not the enemy. And just remember that this mind body, they don't need anything from you other than to just don't resist them, just allow them. They don't need to be taken care of in that sense. Sometimes I see people, they do tend to again just wanting to soothe that emotion or just bring comfort, but that's not how we do it. If you just allow it, if you just feel it, there's nothing missing. They don't need anything from you, but just step out, just allow the process. Then your nervous system will heal, will be brought back to balance, and your mind, your brain will start to understand that it's fully safe for me to feel, which it is. The feeling, it's never gonna kill you. It will be probably uncomfortable, and that's okay. But the more you drop the resistance, the more you are able to allow, the more you become still, the more you move from the one trying to control, to move away, to that true self, to that one that is not moved by this emotion, that is not moved by anything that happened to you. In that state, and that's a process as well, we'll talk about that too. That is when we realize that we are whole, that is healing. But the whole process of just allowing will re-teach your system and will allow that energy which you notice as an emotion to come into completion. So just become very aware of when you tend to move up to the mind, move into stories, wanting to understand or control or write or talk about it. Come back. Just feel it. It takes time. It takes practice, diligence, courage. But that's the only way to resolve emotions, and that's the only way when we talk about feeling safe, that you show your brain that this is safe. Because as long as we fear our own emotions, we will never be safe in our own skin. The threat isn't out there. It is fearing how this something will make me feel. And we tend to repeat events. Situations keep coming into our lives that reminds us, or that brings up that same emotion, because it wants to just move that full circle and be released. And this is what worked for me, and this is what helped me to move beyond identifying and being occupied with this body, mind, thinking, feeling trap, beyond into something greater, into connection with my true self. And so there's many misunderstandings, many misconceptions about what the emotions are calling us to do, or actually not to do, to allow, and how they are healed. And that may also be the case why you feel stuck on your healing journey. So become very aware and choose to be present. Choose to be still. And just feel. And just relax even deeper. And do not attach to anything. And drop the stories. And feel a little bit more. And this happens in a layer. You will never bite a bigger bite than you can chew. So you don't need to be afraid to be overwhelmed, because you won't if there is a big trauma behind it. You won't embrace it all at once. But know that your true self has never been damaged by anything, and the emotions will never hurt you. It's not dangerous to feel. We have taught our system that it is dangerous, that it is deeply uncomfortable. But truly, when we remove all resistance between us and the emotion, it's not even uncomfortable. And it's maybe very subtle. It's many times are not the big breakdowns, even though it doesn't mean that it's shallow. It's maybe very deep grief or deep fear. But without the resistance, it can just move up and out. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be tears, even though there is sadness. And sometimes you will literally see it in your physical body, how some movements start to, some shaking or some palpitations, and the energy moves. So just keep creating space, keep practicing non-resistance. And this will help you to return to safety, to that sense of safety that is within you. Doesn't matter where you are and what happens, because you know that I'm safe to feel. You will reteach that inner child of yours that we are safe to feel. We can handle emotions. Of course, if something happens in your life that are of danger, that a car is moving towards you, you will move out of the way. You don't need to worry about that. But many times the reaction to a life event is deeply there are such a deep connection with those childhood traumas, so we cannot discern, is this good for me or not? So my suggestion is to not make any changes or not move into action when you are triggered. If it's not a threat, your life is in you are threatened to your life, of course, but don't just allow it to be with emotions. And when you are on the other side, you can make a decision if this is something you wish to change in your life, but not as an reaction to an old pain. And so I hope this was helpful. Let me know how it's going, and please, if you have any questions, I will talk more about this, because I see that there is a great need, because this is something that you can truly, or only you can do to yourself, and that's the only way through when we're talking about healing the nervous system, healing the emotions. And I send you many blessings. Thank you.